Welcome to Black Spring on this Saturday. Welcome to the summer of descent. I'd like to shout out the patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, Sandy K, and the Angel Nunes Variety Show. Also on today, we're going to take a look at the autonomous and the spread. Take a look at a few cities that are in question. Could this be the fate of the nation? Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Please keep an eye on the community tab for much more coming up. And we'll be ready to jump right in. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. Good morning, good afternoon, bon après-midi, Camille. Shout out to the definition of anarchy. Shout out to Chrysler Imperial H. Chrysler, you said this is a test of the Black Spring. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm having a lot of, I don't know. It's growing pains. I'll just chalk it up to growing pains because that's what, technology is. I've been around enough technology to just, I should be more adapted to the growing pains. So how's everybody doing on this Saturday? I do have just a few things, but I'm going to open it up and I will open up the conversation for those who wish to contribute. And I don't want to put a time limit on it, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, but that's because I totally want everybody to come in. So shout out to you guys. Hope your Saturday is going well. Shout out to Chrysler Imperial H. Said I just want to come in here and brighten up your day with that because I know all the technical. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chrysler, because I'm telling you, I meant to do something else yesterday, and I'm kind of getting behind on my targets. And which this is one of the best parts, I think, is to actually be able to have dialogue and to talk with actual people. And thank you so much for all that you do. So we'll start out. I'll just give people a chance to come in. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. I saw that, but I can't get it to open up. I think that they are censoring that shot. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. I'm also going to be dropping a few other links into the stream. Shout out to Delacta Camille. Shout out to Chrysler Imperial H. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. Shout out to the definition of anarchy on this Saturday. So, the focus, I guess, or the centerpiece of what we will talk about or we will discuss on this segment will be this ideology, or what I'm referring to more or less. It's more of a we've had the shields and the tools of liberty are being hijacked by these Trojan horse. Where have we been? Where have we been already? We've got this, for lack of a better analogy or expression, this box of chocolates we've got with this liberal madness. We've got, for one, they totally hijacked and manipulated the death of George Floyd, which no doubt there's tons of injustice surrounding the history of law enforcement. There's tons of corruption. I mean, you've got to, if there's tons of that, but at this point, we just keep going from one strand to the next. The second strand was the looting and the rioting amidst protesters. All of these figures want to go under the guise of protesters, but it doesn't fly under a lawful nation. It doesn't fly. And so, these governors, they seem to be willing to negotiate. And then, of course, you got these false equivalencies are going to come up. I heard the first false equivalency that I heard even prior to the lockdowns easing was out of Michigan. I heard people saying that, oh, well, those people, they went and they see those white people, they went out there and they were up there at the Capitol with guns. And I've seen a plural of false equivalency behind that. So there again, what is that? That's another opportunity for chaos and conflation between a protester and, I'm going to say this for just for you. I'm going to say if anarchy wasn't accurate, we're close to it. We're close enough to it to use anarchy with the way things are going. I said mutiny at one point, but we're getting past. This is beyond mutiny. This is the starter kit. We're at least past the starter kit on the anarchy at this point. And I don't believe this is going to end well, because of course when you start going into the legalities of all of this, of course you've got the states' rights, and of course you've got the actual Constitution, the federal law. So I don't know where those two are where the fine lines are exactly, and how it's going to be argued or justified when it comes to action. But we cannot have. Why would we negotiate lawlessness for lawlessness? I'm going to open this up just a second, because I do believe. Let's see. Shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out to Garrett Reed. I'm not sure if I've interacted with you before. Maybe if not here, definitely another site. But welcome in to the Saturday stream. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. Let me see. Let me read your comments first before I went in. It says they finally showed the missing footage of the George Floyd situation that MSM is not showing. Check out Mind of Jamal's video. Start around 21 minutes and 11 seconds to 28 minutes. If I can get it to load up, it's actually, I was on there and I waited for a while, and it's just it started out loading, the comments loaded, but now there's still a space in which it's just a white space. In fact, I might try to go back to it doing this stream without a doubt. But thank you so much for sharing that, the Rapper 10,000. And okay, I'm sorry. You said they have not flagged the video. It was put with an age restriction because of the censors. Now, there again, I'm not sure. I did see that, but I'm not sure how to. I should be around that already, because I believe my settings are set to. I don't know how to disengage that, because I'm already. I would imagine I'm disengaged, but I'll do what I can do, because I'm sure it's definitely worth taking a look at it. So thank you for that. I'll try to figure out what their little reindeer games are. We got a lot of those. I really want to put the microphone on, but I'm afraid that you guys will go split out of here with the technical pains. Shout out again to Garrett Reed. I'm going to be dropping a few other things in this stream. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. He says the Floyd case is based off of a lie. It's getting to be more. The shams are coming undone. Shams are coming off the rails. It says there were black people at the Reopen protest with guns. See, I didn't see. Excellent point, because they didn't show that. In fact, I didn't see that. I would love to see some footage where that happened. But see, for some people, you can show them the truth, but because they're so demoralized and they're so destabilized that they won't accept it. I find that more people would rather They want you to help them keep the anger and the aggravation going. They want to remain agitated. And you showing them the truth, it just agitates them even more because they want to be angry. They need to keep it up. So when you dispel, it can be the truth. And it's still, it will not, it won't. It's just, I cannot find the security video myself. Let's see. Hang on just a second. What was I going to do? Okay, I'm going to put a couple of things here in the stream. I want to shout everyone out for coming in on this segment of Black Spring. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Also, I want to thank you guys again for all of you that were able to attend the First Amendment and the former of Technocracy. Thank you guys so much for being able to come in on that. There was a lot of information there. And of course, that's a part of this platform it's not just about, not just about conjecture or commentary or even sharing the news that's not being, it's not about just full disclosure of what's not being shown, but it's also in these times, we have to be able to, we have to know where our power is as citizens, as lawful citizens. And just, make sure that we know why these things are important, that if I bring something to the show, there's going to be some other opportunities coming up that I'm going to be excited to announce those. Also, you guys check out the Patreon page. On the Patreon page, I'll be able to give you more things. And then I think the censorship is a little bit, as far as I can see, it's going to be a little bit more flexible and I can do more there. But this is the base, the central, the nucleus of the page. So it will come, you will get things here for sure, but I'm just offering more there as much as I can without so much restriction. I mean, you guys know the game. I don't make the rules. I just want to make sure that you can get as much from the channel, that you get as much out that's available, just letting you know what's available. But I appreciate you just the same on the stream when you come in to this part of the platform. So yes, so you are valued. Thank you so much, subscribers and patrons. Shout out to Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, Sandy K, The Angel Muniz Variety Show, and Chrysler Imperial H. Also, shout out to The Definition. Nice to see you in on a Saturday. I'm also going to be checking out the program that I talked about. I'm still going to continue that. So I will also announce the winners of the playlist of the week on Monday. I have had some technical issues, but I'm working on those. And I'm going to say right off, there's going to be like more interactive presentations. Of course, there's video, but then of course there's going to be some special things that are going to be offered coming up. So keep an eye on your community tab for those. So shout out to the rapper 10,000. Check out the Michigan Operation Gridlock protest. There were Black people armed that the Michigan governor did not show. Imagine that. Plus, she used Black people as her security guards. Where do we know that? Where do we know that that's like an archaic tactic, right? That's pretty much signature Democrat, right? Or signature left. I've said this time and time again, and it's so evident. Anytime somebody's doing something that represents an American value or something of American value or of an American principle, they will not allow that person, that Black person, to represent that. Instead, they will put these celebrities out, whether they've had a history of drugs, violence, whatever. They will put those people they will project those people out into the community or put those people on the front of the camera before they put Anybody that's promoting or euphemizing self-destruction in the Black community, that's who you will be presented with first. Now, you got to give it to them. At least they're being consistent. I don't even know if it's not surprising me. It's not surprising to me. It's just that it just reveals that even the mainstream media is a part of they're part of the Trojan horse. The Trojan horse. The definition said, what is law anyway? Well, that's a fully loaded question. I mean, it's established. It was established by a group of people or by some form of construct, around some form of construct, whether it be social or legal or the need. I mean, you can think of many things that have laws. I mean, are they all fair, or could they it's a PR, perception and reality. We do have a big issue with that in this country at this point. It's chaos or perversion from chaos into deception. When there's confusion, that leaves room for deception. And I think that's a part of what we're seeing. We need to negotiate with lawlessness so the lawless people can be happier, or some faction of lawless people can be happier. But how does that work in your community? Are you going to negotiate, or are you going to, I mean, it's huge. The spectrum is just too, I mean, in the arts, spectrum is great, but we're just too far. We want to play with all the crayons in the box. And the core gets lost with that many shades. Says, can you drop your PayPal link in the chat? Oh my gosh, Chrysler, you're too kind. Let me get, it's around. Let me go over to my page. I am having I'm having a rough day with the technology. I'm going to probably drop a link in the stream. We'll probably take a look at some of these, because I'm going to tell you this whole rash of or this spread of this autonomous, it's starting to spring up in more places. I mean, Nashville. And then I think that it's looking like another hotspot could be Portland, Oregon. I think that's another hotspot for you. So, it's not, I mean, hang on just a second. So hold on just a second here. Okay, so I'm going to drop some links. And I'm also going to let me get that out. Chrysler, I heard you, and I am doing it. I'm a little bit slower, but I will get there. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me on this segment of Black Spring. Hope everybody's doing well. And there's just going to be, so this is, as I said, I think there's going to be an assortment of ideologies that are they're going to hijack everything under the sun. Because the more shades you play with, the less you recognize where you started from, the more gray it is. So I mean, I'm just saying with the campaigns, I mean, there's probably about 5 campaigns going on right now. And it's to me, the goal is the same. It's a similar goal. I'm going to drop that. Give me just 1 second here. I'm going to drop some links in the stream. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. Nice to see you on. Okay, I am in no man's land on that. Just give me a second. Let's see. Here, I'm going to drop this link in here, but I am going to be pulling up some of these. I mean, just give me, it'll probably be like another 10 minutes or so, but I am going to be dropping putting a couple of things in the stream, as well as I'll be putting a couple of videos up. But I do believe there are going to be more little enclaves of these ideologies springing up. So I hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to you, Chrysler Imperial 8. Shout out to you, The Definition of Anarchy. Shout out to Rapper 10,000. I'm going to read a comment here. Well, I'm doing multiple things, so I'm going to get to it. See, MSM and the Democrat Party supports and encourage lawlessness in the Black community. In fact, most Black leaders fail to see this. I don't know if I just think they're willfully ignoring. Yeah, they want you to be lawless, but it's at their own detriment is what the problem is. Yeah, go out here and destroy things. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for more when I go back to my nice place and my nice things after I help you destroy yours. Yeah. That's what you need, right? That's what the community needs. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to read some more comments here, but I am getting to it. I'm not ignoring you. Okay. That's not the right one. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. Protests start after Atlanta cop shoots man who fought them at the Wendy's drive-thru. Wow. But you see, it's just, oops, sorry. Shout out to the Angel Muniz Variety Show. Thank you so much. I am getting to things. I'm just a little bit behind, but I'm happy that you guys are here, and I'm happy that I'm actually able to do this stream. Are you guys hearing me okay, or are you hearing lots of feedback morsels in the background? I think this started last week, and now I'm finally catching up to what appears to be something going on there. So hang on just 1 second. I'm going to get it together. Okay. So shout out to everybody in the stream. I hope your day is going well. Hope you are safe and you can see safety within your grounds or within your grass. And if you want to be, I don't want to, this is another disclaimer that I feel the need to say it, that I'm not anti-protest, but I am anti-lawless and destruction of property. Whether it's your property or anybody's property, no one's property should be destroyed in this. I've heard people refer to the situation in Seattle as a block party. What was it, the mayor? Perhaps, get your fact check book out. But there's a way to do block parties, right? You go through the bureaucratic process and you do it. You put it down that way. But I fail to see the equivalent of what's going on. And I'm sure there's some untold things happening as well. I'm sure that's happening. That's seems to be pretty classic. We can't quite get what we need unless you're on the ground to see it for yourself, or somebody else's. You've got a lot of you got a lot of citizens out here on the ground doing the journalism because it's not being covered. I'm sure most of you are probably following some of those pages by now anyway. But if you're not, it is out there. But of course, when you're grassroots, or when you're self-supported, when you're you're an independent journalist or grassroots, you throw your resources at these things to reveal the truth. That's what you do. I know there's one, I'm thinking of one person. I've seen a couple of people that are doing it. Let's see. It used to be. All right. Once again, shout out to everybody that's in the stream. I'm happy that you came along. Thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. All right, I'm going to get back to the stream here. Sorry about that. Doing a whole lot of things. Let's see. We can hear you. Thanks so much for that at the Rapper 10,000. With all this BS, it reminds me of what happened in the 2016 election. Same BS, different election cycle. I've heard that too. You know, Chrysler. I think they were starting to because they're controlling the information, and they control everything about it. Thanks so much. I'm not using the microphone, by the way, not today. Oops, that's not what I need there. Let's just go back to that one. Yes, but yeah, many of these mayors need to be recalled. And I don't know many of these west, the Northwest is really, they're really at risk of this thing going bad, like badly. I think so. It's very sad to say, but it could go very badly, because I don't think these governors, I think they're doing their part. But, you know, I hate to draw it down to this, but I think everybody has a boss, and this is no less the same case. You know, you got these technocrats, you know, they're running the roost. They're doing what they're, you know, they've been told, or they've got their own agenda. They've got their own interests that they're trying to keep. They're trying to keep their own interests going. Because, you know, it's an election season. I mean, I'm not surprised. Let's see, drop this here. Okay, so there's that. Okay, shout out to everybody that's in the stream. Shout out to the Rapper 10,000. So I'm just going to show one of these right now. I'm going to be sharing a screen, so thank you so much. Shout out to everybody in the stream. I haven't forgotten you. I am just working through. I'm working through a few resets. But Once again, hope everybody's doing well on your Saturday. So we're going to first probably take a look at, Seattle first, and then we'll go over to, I think, some developing coverage on the Nashville autonomous. So we'll see. Let's drop some links here. Yeah, so once again, I want to thank you guys so much. And then I want to draw your attention, if you were there, give you some context to the last post that was in the stream, that was in the community tab. Now, that came from my guest. If you were here last week, my guest, Mary Baker and Patrick Wood, came on a segment, on a piece that we were doing on the First Amendment, as well as the former technocracy, which is the sustainability ideology. So she made some specific comments about the group Antifa. And so she offered me an opportunity to kind of clarify where she got that wrong. And I mean, that happens. You've got a lot of disinformation campaigns, just as much as you have. You've got that. That's what I'm saying. These campaigns and all these, a lot of these protests are under. It's a disinformation. It's a diversion. There are many diversions to keep people off the trail of the truth. That's how you do it. Shout out to Killer Whale Channels. Killer Whale Channels. Hope you're doing well, Killer Whale, wherever you are. So I'm going to put a few of those off. A few of those here in the stream. Also get to know each other. You might find a kindred spirit. You never know. I don't have to pass out a napkin and say, hey, look at your neighbor. Look at the person sitting next to you. You can do that. It's not a gross dream, but I don't want to discourage it, but I'll leave it at that, as long as things stay decent, Okay. So a couple of those. Shout out to Killer Whale Channel. Shout out to Sandy K. Sandy K, if you're out there listening, or if you're listening in replay, there's a shout out to you. Shout out to the Angel Nunez Variety Show. Thanks so much for coming in on your Saturday. It means a lot that you guys can come in and spend some time here on YouTube. Because, I mean, you guys all miss the mainstream media news, right? I tell you, we've had like a whole medley of craziness, even with the Democrats and their Emancipation Hall demonstration. So gross. I think that's very offensive. The equivalency there, you had Joe Biden. I played this yesterday. I'll probably play it again today. I'll play another false equivalency. It's really sickening, and it's really, you've got to be really, this is going to sound harsh and bad and not so good, but you've got to be really dumbed down, demoralized, docile, and come up with a few more D's to believe every single thing that's presented to you. So just hang on just a second. I am going to get to your comments, so don't worry. And it's really, that's what this whole, what you want to go ahead and call it, New World Order, put your tin hat on, whatever you think. What do you do when the conspiracy is true? I'd like to, for people that throw that around, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was something that was That's a term that the FBI came up with, or the CIA rather. Thank everyone for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Shout out to the definition of anarchy. Yes. Let's see, I have a comment here. I'll read this next comment. I'm getting behind on those. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on this next, I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play for you a statement from, it looks like, the Seattle Police Officers Guild President, Sloan, Michael Sloan, I believe. It's not Sloan. It is Michael Sloan. So we're going to hear from him and then from some of the other cities that are dealing with the same issue. So shout out to everybody that's joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I will be sharing the screen. If you have any audio issues, let me know. Okay.
In the middle of all of that, you might hear a lot of reference to the CHAZ or autonomous zone. It'll come up a lot, but these individual citizens has essentially taken over that area, peacefully or not. It is a concern for some security authorities, the police, who wonder that if things were to really get hairy, then what do you do? Mike Sullivan is a Seattle police officer, joins us right now, the guild president there. Officer, always good to have you. What do you make of this right now, and how long it could go on? If it's peaceful and nothing much occurs, just heard our reporter of the scene. This could drag for a while. What do you think?
Hey, Neil, thanks for having me. Well, this is very concerning, and I think you should have everybody across the country deeply concerned, because this could metastasize across the country. It's quite clear that City of Seattle elected officials are lacking the political will to enforce the rule of law. And this is the closest I've seen since being a 20-year professional of public safety service of our country to becoming a lawless state. And when you have 6, now 7 blocks of a City of Seattle-owned geography now being occupied by some say are still armed people, especially at night, where do we go from here? What happens to the reasonable community in Seattle? In particular, the business owners that surround that area or the residents. And we're already seeing reports come out of those residents saying they're not even allowed to have a vote or a say, and they're feeling threatened. So this is a very deeply troubling situation in terms of public safety, as we're already seeing signs that it's occurring down in Portland, Oregon, and we've heard things happening in Nashville. And my sources are telling me that the federal government is extremely interested in this, and it's quite clear that the people that have taken and basically stolen the George.
Sorry, guys.
Floyd protest message are now using it to benefit themselves and holding the rest of the reasonable citizens of Seattle hostage. It's absolutely unacceptable.
You were right to point out the festering movements in Nashville, Portland, Oregon, and other cities as well. And Mike, that have been saying much the same. What they're doing there, we like to try here. And it occurs at a time that, at least in the Seattle area, the mayor is saying one thing, the police chief quite the opposite. We already know that Carmen Best, the police chief, has been concerned. She defied the mayor's orders the other night when the protests were really getting bad before this sort of lockdown situation, that she went ahead and used tear gas to break up what was potentially a violent scene. Now a judge has intervened to say, don't do that
again.
Okay,
give me just 1 second.
That sort of thing. So it sort of ties her hands.
What a contrast between. You said it well, it ties her hands. So just imagine, if the city and the elected officials are willing to surrender a police facility, what's next with these criminal agitators, these unreasonable activists?
These are not ordinary times. And on the right side of your screen, a look at that area.
That's in particular, the Seattle Police Department flagship precinct in West Precinct. That precinct houses 911 communications citywide. Neil, if
Okay, sorry, there was a couple of things
lose the
going
West
on there.
Precinct due to the lack of political willpower by our elected leaders. Imagine how do the reasonable citizens in Seattle expect to get police services when they call 911 for help? This is going to spread, and if we don't get someone to step in to lead and make decisions here for the good of everybody, the reasonable majority of Seattle citizens that support public safety, we're in dire trouble here.
We'll watch it very closely. Mike Sloan, thank you very much and for your service and everything you're doing and trying to keep the peace there. Mike is the Seattle Police Officers Guild president. We'll be monitoring that very, very closely.
Okay, so there you had some coverage, I guess a bit of a review. I'm just thinking that that the leadership is very poor. It seems to be in these liberal run cities, and I don't see it getting any better. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link out here. Please, I'm not going to put a time limit on your comments, but so there you go. There's a stream out right now. A stream share link for you. But this is not a growth stream, so let's just try to stay on the. We'll get, of course, we'll get into some other things, but I just want to make sure that we're not talking about other things or getting into things that are really not, that are so far off of the mark that it's unclear. So yeah, there is the link in the stream there. So then I had another clip in which you could see the. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share the next. I'm going to share the next screen with you. We'll go into the Portland area. I think not the Portland, but to Nashville, I believe, after this one. So I'm not sure where everybody is, of course, I know where some of you are. I know there are some Northwest, some SoCal people on the West Coast here, but I'm not sure about everybody else, where you're from or what your concerns are. Let's see. All right, so this next one is going to be from another protest coverage from the Seattle No Cop Zone. This is just using Fox News on this one. It's buffering a little bit. Hopefully it's going to play. Let me know if it's still echoing out there. Let me know if there's an echo and if it's coming from my microphone or if it's coming from the actual stream, the actual video. So don't forget to hit the like button or make sure that you're still subscribed. Make sure that you're still subscribed. I'm not sure if anybody else is having an issue, but I know that I'm not holding on to many of the subscribers. It's not unique, but it is interesting. Okay, let's just say that. All right, so it looks like that one is buffering a bit, so we're going to go on to the next one. So we'll go over to the next city, in which is showing signs of autonomy, mass, or it's a hotspot for autonomous. So, and there again, you could be dealing with the media and disinformation campaigns. It's just the times are so, the institutions that we've looked to for many years are just turning out to be, they're turning out to be a bit dishonest or manipulative. I'm not sure So let me go ahead and take you to that one. So this is coming from, I believe, Governor Lee.
Rally is underway at the state capitol as activists continue to push to defund police.
Organizers say Free Capitol Hill protest is an attempt to take back Legislative Plaza for the people of Tennessee. News Channel 5's Emily Luxon is there. She has more on the group's message. Emily.
That's right. They started at Legislative Plaza. They gathered there, and then they made the short walk over here to the Capitol steps. Take a look at the crowd here behind me. I'd say about 100 people out here right now. They have put a tent up in what they have renamed Ida B. Wells Plaza. That is in honor of a prominent civil rights activist where the statue of Edward Carmack once stood. They say they will be in that tent and be here until they get some kind of response from Governor Bill Lee. Now, earlier this afternoon, Governor Lee issued a statement reminding people that they have the right to peacefully assemble, but that state law prohibits camping on state property, and that law will be enforced. We'll have to see how that plays out throughout the rest of the evening. THP troopers are here. Metro Police have also been in the area just keeping an eye on things. Everything has remained peaceful. There's been a lot of music, a lot of chanting, and several speakers have addressed the crowd. They have been calling for local and state lawmakers to defund the police, demilitarize the police, fire Metro Police Chief Steve Anderson, and to remove the statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest from inside the Capitol. They vow to be here throughout the night. We will continue to see how long this event will go on, and they are demanding answers. They want to see changes from both state and local leaders. We will be here throughout the night, keeping an eye on things for you. Reporting live at the Capitol, Emily Luxon, News Channel.
Okay. I thank everybody for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I hope you can still hear the audio on these. Looks like I'm still showing. It says the rapper 10,000 says they did vote to disband the police. He also says, I strongly think that having zero police in the Black community will teach them a lesson. Wow. Yeah, but yeah, and I can see that. I can see that. But I mean, it's a costly lesson that people will pay with their lives, or innocent people will pay with their lives. People that don't support that will pay with their lives. And are we raising it's like, are we supposed to raise a sullen group of teenagers so that they will want to be less lawless? I mean, I don't. I mean, you're right. It is more, it's college. You're saying these are more idiotic college students. Well, they're certainly carrying the torch of the professors, because at this point, I'm sure the professors, these lawyers, these professors, there's probably some judges. There's probably a lot of people that are out during these demonstrations. I'm going to call them demonstrations. You've got a lot of people that have infiltrated these institutions, and then they too took an oath of office to uphold the law. But what are they doing now? What are they doing now? If they're not upholding the law, it's not, they want to, if you're looking for a perfect nation, when you find one, you have a lot of people. You could make a lot of money if you find any place that's absolutely perfect, where there's zero disparities. There's zero, whether it's economic, whether it's aptitude. You want people that have higher aptitudes to do higher aptitude. You want them in those domains. You want a scientist, somebody with a high aptitude in science. You want a doctor that has a high aptitude in science, biology, chemistry, physics. You want those domains of competence rewarded because you want them to keep doing things. You want them to keep doing the brilliant things that they do to make either society or the quality of life better. But this whole idea that everyone gets a participation award or your hair is better than mine, so let me come and take it. I'm angry with you because you have curly hair and mine is straight, or I'm angry because mine's straight and yours is curly. That is, to me, it's just not, it sounds like an immature, we've got an immature, a huge immature faction and a lot of envious and jealous people in this country. And I very rarely hear the word of people taking responsibility, whether they're making good choices or bad choices. We've all made some bad choices, but what do we do after it's done? Do you take responsibility for it, or do you try to find reasons that somebody else is holding you back? And, people the other thing is people look at people and try to assume their age, and they're not even curious. They just automatically assume that, oh, well, you're young and well, you don't really know anything about me. You actually don't. You might be able to deduce some things, but that doesn't tell you exactly who I am or what my life experiences are. That none of that does. But we've got a culture of immature people. You know someone like that. I know someone like that. But these are the people that want to lead, or they want to change things, whether it's for the better or not. Whether other people are going to pay with their lives so they can feel that minute of utopia, so they can get that dopaminergic. Oh, I did something wonderful today. And even though in less than 5 minutes, it's going to go bad. You're going to be back to reality. And also some people probably paid with their lives, and you got your 5 minutes of utopia, and then the dystopia set in. So let me do your comment here. Sorry for the delay there. It said, it's a cultural issue in the Black community for why they support criminals over innocent Black lives. I know some who are supporting looting over peaceful protesting. Well, I don't think that's going to last too much longer. I really don't. I'm actually surprised that it's still going, that some of these things are still going on. I mean, I don't know what it is. Is it, that's a good point, the rapper 10,000. Why is that happening? Is that happening because the crime rates are so high and everybody has got a George Floyd in their family? Is that what this tribal shame and tribal, some of the tribal detriment is in the community? Is that a contributing factor? I think it is. So shout out to everybody in the stream. I'm going to go through here and do a couple of shout outs. Shout out to the Definition of Anarchy. Shout out to Delacta Camille. If you're still here. Merci, mon ami. Chrysler Imperial H. Shout out to the rapper 10,000. Shout out to Garrett Reed. I'm not sure, Garrett Reed, if you are new to the stream or I will come by and check out your page. Check out your channel. I use page on here a lot, but check out your channel. Let's see. Shout out to the Angel Munez Variety Show. Shout out to Derek C. Williams. Shout out to Sandy K. Shout out to Killer Whale Channels, Patrick Jane Forums, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anyone here. Yes, and Old School Wolf, if you're around anywhere, shout out to you. If you're driving by in your car and you don't have time and you're not in a place that you can do anything, just shout out to whomever's and you don't have time. Shout out to you. Okay, so who else do we have here? This is the rapper 10,000 says that, and single mothers teach their kids this lifestyle. Well, yes, they don't have somebody. I was listening to someone else the other day, well, probably last week or last weekend, just saying that you have a lot of kids that have a problem with an authority figure because most of them have their mothers are the only, that is the authority figure. And that's the only, so when someone else challenges them, it's immediate. You're going to be met immediately with the opposite response that they probably give to that mother, which yelling and screaming at someone really does not show, it doesn't show natural strength and natural authority. It doesn't. But I do think that, you know, for a father has a natural ability, a natural ability to enforce or redirect a child. It's just there. It's just in their DNA. It's in their makeup, in their genetic makeup. It's not something that I have as a woman. You know, do I think women should be empowered to do things? Yes. But should we convince ourselves that we have natural components that are found in men? No, I don't think so. I'm not going to say, you know, I don't agree. I mean, I was like, I want to say I was lucky enough. I had both parents, and you could see, you already know which one's going to be the softer of the two, or you know, and sometimes that is even reversed in a home. I've also known of kids that many kids don't come from homes, even sometimes they're not even with their parents. They're with extended family members. It's just they're in survival mode. So you take a kid that's in survival mode that doesn't even have that single mother figure, then that kid is even 5 times more reactive when someone approaches him or her. And I think sometimes we get into the whole male, but it's both ways. Male, it could be a male or a female. You see it in the schools. And now that all of it comes, it's society has a problem. Well, you know, society these are problems in the making, and it does start at home. But you can also see, I used to, as a student myself, as a kid, you could see that you would have parents talk about, oh, well, you know, that kid down the street, he's going to be just like his father or his uncle or his so-and-so. And you know what? It was tough to hear that, but you would hear it about so many kids in a neighborhood, or so many kids that were in, you could see the examples in your school. The kids that don't obey, that have an issue with authority figures in school, who do you think those people are going to become? It's a cycle. And eventually from school, they end up going, if they start out at a mild detention, then eventually they get escalated to a tougher detention or an entire alternative institution or facility. So it gets to be, shout out to being Marilyn Gale. Thank you so much for coming in on your Saturday. Appreciate that. So shout out to you, being Marilyn Gale. You guys should check out Being Marilyn Gale. She goes live, and I'm going to catch one of her live streams. Shout out to the rapper 10,000. Shout out to Chrysler Imperial H. Shout out to the Angel Muniz Variety Show. Shout out to the Definition of Anarchy. Shout out to, Garrett Reed. Shout out to you. Please hit that bell if you can. I mean, the thumbs up or the thumbs down, anything for Channelytics. That's all accepted here. We accept all the major Channelytics factors, like, unlike, comments, no comments. So yeah, so I'm saying, you know, I mean, and this is from I'm coming from an educator's background. I've been a teacher, I've been a student, I've been a teacher, I've been all of these things. And the thing about it is I will always be a student of my discipline, but I'll also be a student of other people that come into my life that I think add some value to my life. You know, and my dad used to say, he's like, I can always tell you something. And I didn't understand. I understood it literally, but I didn't understand it in the ways that I can see it now. And I'm saying, and to me, my dad was absolutely right. He's saying, I think ultimately he's saying, you can always learn something from me. You're never too old to learn something from me. And I know there also used to be a saying where people would say, and not that my dad said this, but I hear other people say, oh, you're not too old to be beat. And they didn't say that in a destructive, that wasn't a destructive sentiment. That was, you're never too old to learn something, to keep learning, or to learn to work smarter, or to learn to work harder, or to learn to work more efficiently, or to learn that you could have done that in another way, or there was a more efficient way for you to do that. But because you didn't listen to me, this was your outcome. So I can see that. You know, I'm saying if you still have your parents, if you've, and I know all parents are not created the same. They're not made from the same stuff. If I can, for the lack of a better set of words on that, they're not all made from the same stuff, but they do have experience. And sometimes you can't see where you're going with that until you've had some more experience. I mean, I don't know it all. I think that's what I'm getting at. I will, if you know it all, you're not growing. You're not going to continue to grow. And I think many people with authority figure issues, you cannot, it's a psychological shutdown if you can't be redirected, or if you cannot accept redirection, even. And sometimes it might not come in the tone that you want it in, but you still walked away with something. I mean, I've learned some things the hard way, but I was also thankful that if I was without something, sometimes, whether you guys are spiritual or not, sometimes I do believe, whether you're, they say God will put people in your life or in places where you need them. He'll put people in place when you need them. So even if you're without a mother, or without a father, or without a family member in a situation, there might be a total stranger that will appear, say, I really needed that. I really needed that assistance. I didn't know what I needed that day, but somebody was looking out for me. I don't think those things are coincidences. I don't. So once again, I want to thank everybody for joining me on this segment. I'm probably going to run this segment for about 20 more minutes, but there is an actual invite in the stream. So if you would like to pick it up, it is there. It's a little bit back in the stream. It's not that far back. Maybe far enough that you have to dig a little bit. But I want to show this. I want to share this clip on the false equivalency that I did a video on that. Shout out to you, the rapper 10,000. He said, if I was a lawmaker, I would make a rule that no single mothers or female teachers to raise boys at all, because too many of them are these oversensitive leftists who set them for failure. Well, I don't know, the rapper 10,000. I don't, I can see a lot behind what you're saying. I can see a lot of that, but at the same time, there'll be the issues of, people will fight you on, you'd probably be fought on. Somebody says, oh, well, I have the right to do whatever I want to do. And, that would come up. But I do agree. I'm not one of these people that will stand here and tell you that I believe that a woman was designed to raise a man. Do I think that she can give him many things, but do I think she can bring out that natural authority in him, that bring out a level of respect that a man has, or that he has when he is groomed by another male? I'm not going to lie and say that I agree that she can do that. I'm not going to say that. No, I don't. But many people, but people make choices, and sometimes they make bad choices, and then they're still looking for oh, well, she's the reason that I did that. Oh, that's the reason why I did that. And then some choices, better to have a choice than no choices at all. But we still have choices, and sometimes we don't make the right ones, and that goes for everybody. So I'm just saying, we've got a culture of a culture it's not sustainable. Everything that the technocrats put out is not just about everything. They say they're about sustainability, yet everything they do is unsustainable. This movement of the autonomous zones, that's unsustainable. In this country, it is. And even in some of the other nations, I don't think they wouldn't even allow it. You would be put down right away, whether, they're going to show you some force. If you're trying to take over, if you're trying to seize something. It says, or how to respect other people like male authority figures. Crime data supports that single mothers create more beta male shooters. Well, I haven't, I'll tell you, I've looked into some statistics myself, and they are the community-based statistics. But I'm going to tell you, none of the statistics that I have found have surprised me, because here, when I'm speaking about certain things, I'm speaking from an educator's perspective. But I also will tell you that many of these universities, their instructors, their professors have focused more on activism than educating the students. Some schools focus on more entertaining than they do education. And it's reflected in the people that you see, whether it's every day, it's reflected in the youth. But then it's also getting into the culture. It's kind of fizzling out. It's dispersing into the culture. And it's a breakdown. It's a breakdown. So yeah, very, very sad. It's very sad to see. Even when I was teaching adjunct, I saw that many students thought literally that their physical appearance in my class dictates them getting an A. And I said, it doesn't work that way. You showed up, but you also took 30 minutes outside on a phone call, or you didn't do the work. It's like, you don't get to dictate what the standards for this class. That's not how this works. But where that came from. It came from all the other liberal studies that they're in. They go to these classrooms, and these professors act out on them as if they're some type of idol or god. And if they don't write their papers with the same opinions that reflect the same things that they tell them that they should, then you're going to get a low grade. But then also, whether it's right or wrong, they'll come to my class and say, hey, I'm gonna go to the dean and complain that you didn't give me a grade. And even though I did this, I showed up for class. That was my only responsibility in this class, was to just show up. And then, of course, what happens? I wind up at the dean's office and say, hey, you approved this curriculum, and why are we challenging it right now? This is their attendance. this is the work ethic. This is the product of the student coming to my class every day, or not showing up every day, halfway showing up. But this is the work record that we have. What do you think we should do? I have to have no standards so that they don't have to live up to any standards, right? So I'm going to tell you that part of the higher ed institution, I had an issue with it, because in the arts, it's a creative genre. There's history, there's artistry, there's, of course, we had music. There was music that reflected the civil rights. There was music that reflected, the music was a response to many things. These things, I mean, we've got, just about every construct, there's some decadence that you can find in it. You can find it. There's, that's the beauty of it. But then, in order for us to, I think the laws do create a level of unity. Unity. Because it's woven. Are they perfect? No. But can you imagine without, can these people honestly imagine their lives with absolutely no one, or no one to enforce anything? And then some people say, oh, private policing. And that's gonna, then you'll be assigned, that's a sign of privilege, right? The fact that neighborhood has a private policing type, private police precinct, or they have their own, it's a private model. So then you're gonna have some issues there. So you can break things down and tear them all apart and try those out. And then eventually you're going to be back to reality. You can try a lot of things, but there's also going to be destruction in that. A lot of things are going to happen in between all of that tearing down you're doing. Somebody's going to be at risk, because while you're tearing it down, looking for something else, for the grass to be greener, socially greener, or legally more green, somebody else's life is going to be, or somebody's safety is going to be at risk.